Chapter 5. The Astreus. In the portal building, Taff and Keira stood with the wing commander on one of the stone paths leading up toward the portal itself. With them were 2 engineers in red overalls and 2 generalists. The wing commander checked his watch. 3 minutes to 9, he said. You'll find this interesting. He directed the comment at Keira. The minutes ticked down. Expectation thickened the air. The smell of ozone mingled with a soft, rising hum as the portal interacted with the atmosphere. Exactly 10 seconds before 9 o'clock, the sides and top of the portal frame began pulsing red and silver. A countdown, Keira realized. On the 10th pulse, the edge of a large trailer appeared, sliding through the blackness. It was at least 10 feet wide and 3 times as long, laden with provisions. Boxes, cans, fresh meat, fruit. How often does this happen? She asked. 3 times a week, the wing commander replied. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 0900. Never failed. A final shove from the unseen side sent the trailer fully through. It rolled down the ramp and was caught by the waiting engineers and generalists. We'll get that unloaded and back through within the hour, the wing commander said. Taff, can I leave you in charge? Of course, sir. Taff nodded. See you later, Keira. A sudden commotion erupted at the entrance. One of the pilots burst in, breathless. Sir, you need to see this. Now. The wing commander and Keira, with Taff close behind, sprinted after him. There, sir, the pilot said, pointing skyward. A portal had opened high above the beach, and a futuristic aircraft dropped through it. The moment the portal winked out, the craft shot straight upward, only to be caught again as another portal opened and dropped it closer to the ground. It happened 3 times in rapid succession. On the 4th attempt, the pilot tried to escape horizontally, but the portal reappeared directly in front of the craft, snapping it back to its starting point. It was like watching a cat toy with a mouse. Just when it seemed the cycle would continue forever, a sharp blue cross of lightning flashed corner to corner across the portal. The aircraft's power died instantly. It fell the last 10 feet and hit the water's edge with a heavy splash. The portal vanished. They ran toward the crash site. Out of the corner of her eye, Keira saw Rhod and Kate sprinting up from the flight line. The aircraft was sleek and silver, with a slender delta wing profile, sharp angles, and a tapered fuselage. A nose-mounted cannon glowed faintly. Streamlined access hatches dotted the hull, and a faceted cockpit canopy sat forward on the spine. A soft blue glow beneath the craft hinted at anti-gravity propulsion. Mist curled around the landing zone. Rhod reached her side. That's like no craft I've ever seen outside sci-fi. We'd better check the crew, the wing commander said. But before he could step forward, the left hatch slid open with a hiss, releasing a faint mist. A tall figure emerged, pausing at the edge before stepping lightly onto the sand. The second hatch opened, and its occupant descended in perfect synchrony. The symmetry was unsettling. Too precise, too rehearsed. Are they human? Kate murmured. Both figures were tall, over 6 feet, and slender, with facial symmetry that blurred masculine and feminine. High cheekbones, smooth jawlines, neutral expressions. Their suits were functional rather than decorative, marked only by glowing circuitry. More circuitry glimmered faintly beneath their pale skin, reminding Rhod of Star Trek, Voyager and 7 of 9. Keira's question was answered when the slightly more masculine figure stepped forward and spoke in accentless English. Well, he said dryly, I guess this rescue attempt didn't go so well after all. The debriefing of the latest arrivals was far more formal than the casual chat Rhod and Keira had experienced the previous evening. They sat around a large conference table in the wing commander's office. The 2 newcomers, the wing commander himself, an aide taking notes, Taff, Kate, Lionel, and another scientist. A medical doctor who had introduced himself as Dr. Andrew McRae. The wing commander cleared his throat. Well, under the circumstances, he said, I'm not sure this is the right thing to say, but welcome to our little collective of exiles and kidnappees. The second of the Astreus' pilots smiled faintly. We're glad to be here. Although this is not how we intended to arrive, perhaps we should begin by explaining who we are and where we're from. The wing commander nodded. Both scientists leaned forward, eager. To cut a long story short, she said, we're from what you would consider the 22nd century. The clues are probably obvious. The anti-gravity systems on our craft and the technology we wear and embed. 22nd century humans have evolved a long way from, with respect, Homo sapiens. Integration with technology is normal for us. Much of what we can do would seem magical to you. just as your technology would to early humans. But it's all technological, nothing mystical or magical. Homo superior versus Homo sapien, Professor Ashcroft murmured. As our senior doctor, what do you think, Angus? Dr. McRae nodded slowly, staring at the newcomers with unconcealed fascination. I can see the analogy, the CO pilot said. But we tend to emphasize the homo part, rather than get too categorical. We do still have names, for example. I'm Orion Hale, and my life partner is Cassian Vera. Though I also answer to Cass, the pilot added. Perhaps you should explain what these people call portals next, Orion. Of course. She paused, gathering her thoughts, then turned to Rhod and Keira. I understand you're the space shuttle pilots. Rhod nodded. Commander and pilot, but essentially, yes. And that means you left your timeline in the early 21st century. 2030, Keira said. Well, the initial invention of portal technology came not long after that. In 2040, in fact. The year of the first successful teleport at the University College Medical Research Center in Cardiff. Medical? Dr. McRae said, leaning forward eagerly. Very much so, Doctor. Interestingly, the researchers weren't primarily interested in transporting humans from one place to another. That was a side benefit. Their focus was a medical procedure. Once they solved the technical challenge of breaking an object into quintillions of bytes of data, transmitting it and rebuilding it consistently, they wanted to use the process as a last resort medical intervention. And that's exactly what they achieved on that memorable day. She glanced around the table, letting the anticipation build. The patient, a 55-year-old Caucasian man known only as Patient X, was in the final stages of terminal cancer. Years of treatment had failed. His body was riddled with tumors. He had very little time left and very little to lose by volunteering. You'll be familiar with CAT scanners from your era? She asked. Rhod and Keira nodded. Tapp looked faintly confused. The machinery resembled a CAT scanner connected to another CAT scanner with a nest of fiber optic cables between them. As Patient X slid into the first machine, his body vanished from head to toe and started to reappear in the receiving machine. The process was slow in those early days, taking several minutes. But eventually there he was, lying some distance from where he had been and, crucially, tumor-free. That's extraordinary, Dr. McRae breathed. And that was the point, Orion said. As the digital stream traveled through the fiber optic cable and the transporter core, a superfast AI examined every byte of data and deleted anything tumorous. Patient X was rebuilt without a single cancerous cell and remained cancer-free for the rest of an exceptionally long life.